Because it is a practice. You see one of the barges sailing through the port. They have to visit almost all the terminals to bring or to pick up containers. So, and if you see if you know about the congestions in Rotterdam, then you can spend 2 or 3 days in Rotterdam before you can get back. And if there's a big storm, then everything is messed up. And well, if you have to sail all the way back to Basel, then you need to have a lot of capacity to catch up these issues. I'm now going to give a live demo of the smart barging model. We've been analyzing barging solutions in the hinterland for some years, mainly also looking at possibilities for hub and spoke. This resulted in some nice solutions in the hinterland that are now currently active. This is the smart barging application. What you see here is what Walter just showed you in the pyramid, is that you have a network. So the network is the basis in the application. You see the connections, the different providers in the hinterland, and you see also that you can use a fleet to service your customers. What you see here is the different vessels that you can possibly plan in the application. So either you can pick up bigger vessels or smaller vessels that you want to use in your scenario. For the calculation of the cost, we have made a relation between the vessels and also the fuel types and fuel costs. So fuel consumption for all scenarios is calculated based on the speed and based on the distances and based on the fuel type. What you see here is the terminals. So actually we have a lot of terminals in the current system. So we can actually sail all the way from the north of Holland to the south of to the north of Switzerland and to France. So we've included all terminals, and all terminals are connected in different ways in the network. We have a possibility here to use hubs so that you can drop off or pick up cargo on different terminals to improve your logistical plan. And here you see that we can include cargo. So if you have a scenario, of course the cargo has different profiles. It can be on a Monday that you have a lot of cargo in Rotterdam. It can be on a Friday that is only few cargo. And this can differ per period. Well, in this system we can import the cargo that's available. So we can import historical data to analyze the possibilities of the network. And here we can also shift cargo to other terminals or change demand. So say if we say, well, in Basel we have 10% more demand, then we can increase demand in the model. Then we can automatically calculate the effect on the network. If you look at the network, we have almost all terminals in the hinterland connected. So we can in between terminals we can sail to Rotterdam and to Antwerp. And all connections you can easily see here. So here we can sail from Rotterdam all the way to Basel. And behind all those parts of the network, there's knowledge about the maximum speed, about the streaming factor. So if you're going upstream or downstream, it reduces speed or increases speed. Also, all the locks and bridges are in. So the system can calculate if you will fit under a bridge if the water is high, or if you can take all the cargo if the water is low. And all those calculations are behind it so that you can calculate a round trip from Basel all the way to Rotterdam. And once you get to Rotterdam, of course, there's a lot of possibilities to sail through the port, and that's why we have created port strategies. So here we have for Antwerp, we have east-west, so you can from the east to the west or from the west to the east define strategies. And you see the different port sections. So if we choose one of the strategies, then the model calculates the optimal possibility to sail through Antwerp, and also the same we have made for Rotterdam. We can make it also for other areas. Also, of course, there are structures in the application, so you see all the bridges on the way, and all the distances, everything is in the application. And also the waiting days and the opening days, because if you're sailing to the North of Holland and your schedule is not correct, then you can just get caught into one of the canals, and then your logistical plan will fail. Using all this data that's in the application, we can allocate vessels. So here you see the allocation of the vessels on this network. Actually, if I go to Antwerp, you see here the number of moves this vessel Alexandra is making here. Also the move time, because in the terminal we've also put in the move time. And underneath this port, we can also see the terminals that it's visiting in Antwerp. And you see, if we are in Antwerp, we see the cargo that is available for the different terminals in the hinterland. So you see at this terminal in Antwerp, we're loading for this terminal in Duisburg, we're loading this number of cargo. So all this cargo is in the back of this Gantt chart. On the other side, we also have the different stretches. So you can see the stretch. You can see there's some red marking, so this says that this lock is too small for this vessel, but I've overruled this rule because I know this vessel will fit in, because it's only a few centimeters. And also here you see that it's sailing at a certain speed. The actual speed is calculated, but I can also reduce or increase the speed to optimize my plan further. And you see the stretch that it's sailing on. So actually a lot of knowledge about the network, about the connections, about the services of the terminals is in the background of the application. And you can just easily plan a vessel just by creating like an initial plan where you can say what terminals you want to visit. So you can also make a dedicated service for on one of the terminals or combine all the things. You see all the different ways to sail from Antwerp and to make this round trip. And you see the different strategies, and then you can create a plan, and then the application will create a plan taking into account all the different variables that are available in the hinterland. So this is a way to make one scenario, which you can make several scenarios and then compare the scenarios. You see, maybe it's a little detailed, you see the actual plan of this vessel where it's visiting, and you also see on what specific times the barge will be there and will depart, and also you will see how much cargo is loaded and unloaded. So actually you can verify if you have a good plan, because then you can see in practice if it's really in line with the plan you have. Then you can create different scenarios. So you can create a hub scenario or a hub scenario or just a point-point scenario. You can compare the scenarios in the application. So in this case I've made two scenarios, one sailing from the hinterland to both Antwerp and Rotterdam, and one sailing dedicated to Rotterdam and dedicated to Antwerp. And here you can see the average speed is calculated, the number of barges planned. Also the calls, this is important for the service to the customer, that the customer has several connections to the several possibilities to ship a container to the hinterland. You see the TEU that's transported, and it's calculating all the way down to the margin of the TU and the total cost. So here you can analyze different scenarios. You see here a scenario with 10 calls in the port, and you have 16. So depending on where you want to optimize, if you want to optimize your business or you want to optimize your cost, you can create different scenarios and then analyze them. And you see the enterprise-wide analysis. But you can also drill down, like if you want to work together with different operators, then you want to have the overall overview, but also want to have the overview on barge level. So you see per barge, you see the revenue, you see the goals, etc. Then also you can drill down to the terminal, so you have a different perspective on the model, and you can see the results for the terminals, the revenues, the TU price, and all the way to service area where you can combine different terminals in the hinterland area and see the different pricing and capacity and revenue. So this way you can analyze different scenarios and see the effect of the selection of different scenarios. This is a short story that the smart barging tool. If you apply smart barging, if you use analysis tools, you can reduce transportation costs. Experience learned us that you can reduce the number of vessels you're using and increase the number of port calls just by smart barging. You can optimize the balance, also meet service levels by combining smart analysis tools with scenarios. And what I've seen, if you apply smart barging, you can have high competitiveness because you create a possibility to make more connections between the hinterland and deep sea, attracting more customers wanting to use your way of transportation and making it possible for you to grow bigger.